Hi everyone, welcome back to Show Me Mo Vegan. I'm Wendy and today I'm showing you my favorite go-to oil-free salad dressing. It's really easy to remember because it's equal parts of the three main ingredients, so you can make as much or as little as you need. Let's jump right into it. So it starts with lemon juice, balsamic vinegar, and mustard. Of course, you could use fresh lemon juice, but I don't always have fresh lemons on hand. So what I like to do is when I have a bunch of lemons, I'll squeeze the juice out and I'll put it in these ice trays. Each cube is about a tablespoon, and then I'll always have lemon juice on hand. So I already took 2 cubes out, so about 2 tablespoons. And like I said, we're doing equal parts of the 3 main ingredients. So I'll do 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar and 2 tablespoons of mustard. The measurements don't have to be exact. Usually I don't measure at all and I just eyeball it, but I'm measuring for you here today. I recommend using either a stone ground mustard or a Dijon mustard. I'm using this salt-free stone ground mustard. And at this point, this is pretty tart because it's mostly vinegar and lemon juice. So we're going to want to add some kind of sweetener. I like using date sugar. I consider this a whole food sweetener because it's just the whole dates that have been dried and ground up. And how much you add in will depend on your own tastes. If your palate has adjusted to a no sugar diet, you might not need very much. I usually do at least a tablespoon, but you can do more or less. You can also feel free to use whatever sweetener you like. Perhaps date syrup or maple syrup would be good options. If you want to be really simple, you can stop right there. More often than not, all I'm using on my salads is balsamic vinegar, so a simple dressing like this is just fine for me. But if you want to get a little fancy and add some extra flavor to mix it up every time, feel free to do so. You might simply pick your favorite all-purpose seasoning or any of your favorite no-salt seasonings. Usually, I'll simply add in a little granulated onion and garlic. And again, I don't measure, I just eyeball this. I probably put in less than a teaspoon of each. And then I'll add in some different herbs. Maybe parsley or dill would be great options, but I really love tarragon. If you haven't tried tarragon before, it has a unique flavor. I definitely recommend giving it a try. So again, I'll just put in about a teaspoon of that. And then I simply add the lid on and give it a shake. And then this is pretty thick, especially if you use date sugar. And so if you need to, you can add a couple splashes of water to loosen it up. And then this is ready to store in the fridge. You can keep it in the fridge for a few days. I usually only make as much as I can use up within the next 3 or 4 days. And I'll just drizzle a couple of spoonfuls over my salads, but my favorite thing to do with this is to use it on a coleslaw mix. I add the whole coleslaw mix into a large container that has a lid. And then I like to add some chopped red onion, and then pour the dressing all over. And then I usually add just a drop of water into the glass just to get out all the extra flavor. So we'll put the lid on and shake it up. So now everything's nice and evenly distributed. And again, you can use as much or as little dressing as you like. I used that whole amount, but you could even add more. Feel free to play around in the kitchen and find what works best for your taste buds. This will also keep in the fridge for a couple of days, and it keeps getting better and better. Once you've mixed it with the cabbage slaw, I wouldn't go much more than 3 days because at that point the cabbage starts to get a little too soggy. I also really love using this dressing on a massaged kale salad. A massaged salad is just what it sounds like. You basically take the kale leaves and massage them between your hands. You squeeze it until some of the liquid starts to come out and the leaves become very tender. The kale will reduce in volume by about half, and then you can add any other toppings you like. Again, I usually always add some red onion. Sometimes maybe I'll add some bell peppers. Again, mix and match and add whatever you like. With regular lettuces, you usually don't want to dress your salad ahead of time, but like the cabbage, the kale is pretty hearty, so you can put the dressing on ahead of time, and this will just get better and better as it sits for a couple of days. And then that's pretty much it. My favorite go-to oil-free salad dressing. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more plant-based meal ideas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.